You probably clicked on this video because you've read the title, and you're probably asking the question, how can a budget mouse be your endgame mouse? Well, you can see on your screen right now, these are different mice. They have different shapes that cater to different people, but most of them are considered an endgame mouse. So what if I tell you for only 60 USD or 3,600 Philippine peso, you have something that can compete on the upper ranks of gaming mice. Hi, what's up again? My name is Alan, and yes, today we're going to be reviewing this one, the ATK F1 Pro Max, which is about a 60 USD or 3,600 Philippine peso. I wasn't exaggerating when I said this can possibly be your endgame mouse, or at least an option. To give some context or reference, who am I? I play tax shooters, battle royale, and here's some peak ranks that I've gotten through the years. Now, I got into working, but I recently got back into clip farming because I was inspired by this cheater on Battlefield 6. You probably know who I'm talking about. The clips were sick, and it's actually possible to replicate, but not as accurate as him. And those were the clips that I was trying to go for back in the day anyway. You know, it kind of reignited my passion for clip farming. How did I even found this mouse? So I was initially looking for a shape similar to the Viper Mini, which is a mouse that I kind of made a couple of months before it broke, and then I wasn't able to cope another one of it. Long story short, I tried a dozen of different mouse shapes, and I eventually ended up to the Attack Shark X6, which is kind of like my anchor mouse because I got this mouse, I made a review about it, and then I tried a couple of different mouse, got some sponsored mouse, and I tried those because I always try my mouse after I make the review video. I usually tend to try and come back to the Attack Shark X6. I don't know why. The shape I like, it's a clone of Pulsar X2. I actually made a video about this mouse, so if you're in a really tight budget, not like 60 USD or 50 USD above, this mouse can be also really good. Links on the description down below. I'm gonna use this as well as an anchor for this video because it's been my mouse for quite some time. All right, so let's first talk about the different variation of this mouse, the ATK F1. So this one right here is the ATK F1 Pro Max, which is actually in the middle. Now there used to be an Ultimate Edition, but we're not going to talk about that anymore because I don't think they produce it anymore. So we got the F1 Pro, F1 Pro Max, and then F1 Extreme Edition. So basically F1 Pro and F1 Pro Max, pretty much the same. The only difference is this has double the battery at 500 milliamps instead of 250. And then, of course, that has double the hour. And then you got basically everything the same. Now the weight, of course, bigger battery, more weight. So this is around 50 grams. So it's a little heavy, but it's still very light. Yeah, take that as it is. Now the F1 Extreme Edition has a little bit of a better sensor, the POW 3950 Ultra, but only has 200 milliamps of battery, which makes it around 1/3 of the time that you can use the mouse, at least on 1K polling rate. Quite a bit lighter at 35 grams. Yeah, it also has a different side switch, TTC switch instead of Wano, but that's pretty much it. And all of this comes with an 8K dongle. So whichever one you pick, it does, even though the site says only comes with 1K dongle. Mine came with an 8K dongle at least. Wherever I got this from, I'll link it down in the description down below. And of course, all the variation of this mouse has the same shape, so no worries about that. But with the variation of the mouse out of the way, it's finally time to talk about the actual mouse itself. Just for some context here again, I've been using the mouse for over a week. I've used it naked without the grip tapes, and then with the grip tapes after a couple of days. Now, I was able to extensively use this, literally solely this mouse, unlike the other content creators that has to juggle 5 different mice a day because they have to pump out mouse content. I don't have to because I have different type of contents, but respect to them. But yeah, you can count on the extensive use case that I've had with the mouse from 6 a.m. work to afternoon gaming, editing, and then gaming again up until midnight, 2 a.m. or something like that. Again, I've been using this mouse extensively, just like how I do with my other mouse reviews. See? Great. But yeah, anyway, also for reference, my mouse size or my hand size is 18.5 cm by 9 cm. So that's pretty average for what I can see online. Now I'm going to be comparing the shape of it mostly with the Attack Shark X6, but remember, this is basically an hit scan hyperlight. So if you've touched that mouse before, it's going to pretty much feel the same with some slight variation. Also close to the Pawnage Trinity CF, the WL Beast mouse, and of course the Razer Viper Mini. We got the grip tapes right now, so it might look a little larger. We'll talk more about the grip tapes in just a second here, but let's just compare it very quickly with the Attack Shark X6. So as you can see, it's not as steep with the buttons, the positioning of the scroll wheel pretty much the same. The positioning of the mouse back and forth button right here is a little bit into the front, which I do like. And then also the hump in the back is just a tad bit smaller compared to the Attack Shark X6. Now, take that as you will. The way I grip my mouse is so claw grip, relaxed claw, sometimes fingertip with the hump in the back on the bottom right of my hand, and sometimes I even do the scorpion grip, which has basically 3 of your fingers on top, sometimes even the edge claw grip, if you guys know about that. But yeah, I mostly do claw grip in all situations, even on casual use case. Now let's talk about the grip tape, because it's part of the shape technically. Now you can see it's quite a bit thick, like you can literally see it. That's about like 1 mm whatever, but you can really feel the difference. That's why the difference between the Attack Shark X6 and this felt pretty small when I adjusted to it, bare bones naked. Like this one, it felt normal, but when I placed the grip tapes, the mouse felt larger. So I'm now debating whether to take it off or just keep it for now. The Attack Shark X6, I used to put grip tapes into it as well, but I did remove them when I came back to cliff farming, because not good anymore, because they've been used for so long. Now those grip tapes, they're pretty thin, but they're not as grippy as this one. This one right here really feels sticky, like it's a real grip tape, like actual real D brand level grip. Really grippy, very good, but I wish they were thinner, just like on the OP1 8Ks. Now, speaking of grip tape, why did I put the grip tapes on? I don't know if you can hear this right now, but right now the mouse is like chalk smooth. But if my hands gets, you know, just a little bit of moisture and maybe the weather is a little hot, it can get really sticky. Like the grip of the actual coat is actually great. I just added the grip tape for consistency. Let's talk about the build, integrity of the build, whatever. It's no creaking, 0 creaking. I don't know if you can hear, but there's no creaking at all, so you can't hear anything. Even if I press down from the bottom, no creaking. Of course, I'm not going to press on the mouse, but yeah, speaking of build, this is how the left and right click sounds like. They sound pretty good. They're pretty even, at least on my unit. I think it's just a little bassier on the left click, but that's probably because of my use case. I do press quite hard, but they're pretty soft, and it's not something that you can accidentally press, so no worries about that. But they're very easy to press, satisfying sound. Also with the scroll wheel, the scroll wheel's mouse button 3, like when you actually press it, it gives that good feedback. It's not the feedback that I like. I want something a bit more harsher, I guess you can say, but it's pretty smooth to press as well. Now scrolling the scroll wheel, you have distinct feel, but it's not as distinct as like the glorious model mouse, which I do kind of like as well, but they're pretty okay and pretty good too for bunny hopping. I have no complaints. I like the positioning of it as well. When I do my claw grip styles, I never accidentally press it, even on tense situation on games. So far at least, which is good. Now, part of the build quality, or at least things that would come in the box, as you've seen in the unboxing part of the video, we got extra skates, and I don't have to place them because there's pre-placed skates here. Now, these are 100% Teflon. That doesn't really mean much nowadays. They're pretty smooth. I'm using the ATK Kong pad, X Soft. So I usually change my mouse into the Tiger Eyes dot skates or whatever, but I didn't with this mouse because using the new mouse pad, those would kind of like go down because the mouse pad is very squishy. But yeah, with this one, they're gliding pretty well, they're working pretty well. I have no complaints about it, and I think you won't have any complaints about it too. Let's talk about the battery life a little bit. I don't have a full chart or whatever, but here's my usage rundown. So last night, I was at around 75%. I played 2 Valorant matches, 3 finals game, all at 8K polling rate. Now, the settings that I've had are game mode is on, sensor sampling rate is on ATK Shark Competitive Firmware Max. And I'll talk more about the software in a different video, but I'll show you a little bit later on in this video as well. Now, I switched it to 4K or 1K from time to time when I woke up at around 6 a.m., which I have to do work and a little bit of gaming, Metal Gear, the new one. So 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then I went and checked the battery life before charging it. I was left at around 55%. Now, I set it into 1K before charging it at around 4 p.m. And then I went back home at around 4:45 p.m. So that's about almost an hour. And I was already back at 100%. So I think the battery life is really great. Charging capabilities are also good. Now let's talk about the polling rate because I already talked about it and how I used it. Implementation is good. Again, we're using the PAW3950 sensor. Now, 1K dongle works great out of the box, but the 8K dongle pairing is, I don't know, man. I didn't even know how I fixed it. But basically, I have this Ninjutsu Sora V2 cable that is very, very light that I would like to use. But it worked. The 8K pairing kind of took a while to be seen on the web. But yeah, I tried a bunch of different 3.1 ports back and forth. It worked for a bit, and then after I restarted my PC, doesn't want to do it anymore in the browser, and the software doesn't scan it. The software hangs when I have it connected to the Ninjutsu Sora. So I had to use back the old cable of this mouse, and now it works on the 8K, but when I plug it into the mouse, the 8K wired doesn't work. So what I did basically is I just leave everything at default. I repaired the mouse, pressing all of the 3 buttons, the mouse 1, 2, and 3 button at the same time while I have the stock cable that it came with connected to the USB 3.1 port on the back of my PC with a dongle, and I basically just have my Ninjutsu Sora cable that I would really like to use when I'm charging it plugged into just a socket power whatever, so I can charge it while still using it with the 8K dongle. I don't want to do all those sort of things. I just want it to be plug and play. So basically I have 2 wires going to my PC just for 1 mouse, but I do think it's worth it. All right, I'll touch on a little bit on the software right now, but again, I'll be making a completely different video. But as you can see, this is their alt site, the hub.atk.pro. You can pair it and then you can press that and then it's going to connect and you can basically see everything. You can also use it with the new one that is coming out. As you can see, the 3.0 driver, v3-hub.atkgear.com. Pretty much the same thing, pretty much the same settings, just a different UI. And yeah, as you can see everything here. But what I like using is actually their software built from the new one, ATK Gear software or ATK Hub. Pretty much the same as the website. And as you can see, there's game mode on. So don't specifically know what that does. You have the macro, DPI, performance settings, the sensor sampling rate that I was talking about earlier. And yeah, just a lot more different settings. I'll go into more of the settings on a different video because this software actually goes with other of their mouse. That's about it for the software for now. Watch out for a video coming out talking about specifically the software. But yeah, would I call this my endgame mouse? As of the moment, yes. But you know, everything gaming related is evolving very quickly. But for the past years or so, I do think that for someone with an old mouse with the same similar style of grip as mine or similar shapes that we like, then maybe this can actually really be an option as your end game mouse. But yeah, again, it's not for everyone, but this is the closest that I was able to find to the set it and forget it type of thing. I can spend more time aiming instead of tweaking the mouse, my grip style, the shape and whatever. But yeah, comment down in the comment section below if you do have any questions regarding this mouse. I am very willing to answer it. And please do tell me if you got this mouse or if you ever decided to get it. Tell me if you do think it's gonna be your endgame mouse, at least for quite a while.